Habibi, Habibti, my beloved, how are you doing today? Welcome to Marriage Matters, More Than Love, Marriage with Purpose. Today, we explore personalities in marriage. But just before we go any further, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so that so many more people can get to hear and watch this, because this could be the missing piece in the jigsaw, in your relationship, in your marriage. Stay with me. So today I want us to dig deep into personality types and what it means in a relationship, and most particularly in a marriage relationship. Let's start with choleric. And as we're doing this, start finding yourself. Where do you belong? Who are you? What are your strengths? What are your pressure points? We don't say weaknesses, we say pressure points. What are your pressure points? Then what do you need to learn? What do you need to improve on? What do you need to change? What do you need to do more? And I can assure you, then your relationships, not only in marriage, but even at work, with your friends, in the society, you're going to be more self-aware, and you're going to be able to understand other people much better. Then you'll be able to build on your relationships, and relationships are very important. So please don't change that dial. Let's start with choleric. Who is a choleric? The strength of a choleric is that they're so decisive, they're strong-willed, and they're result-oriented. These are the leaders. All right? What is their weakness? Their weakness is that they can be very controlling, they can be impatient, and they can also be a bit insensitive, because for them, it's let's get things done. So there's very little room for emotions, there's very little room for anything else. They just want to see things happening. So they can be a little bit insensitive, impatient, a bit controlling. Now, in marriage, what does this mean? This person is a leader because they show the way. They're strong-willed. They're very result-oriented. They make things happen. All right? But then again, they have a pressure point. They need to be more gentle, be more sensitive, be more understanding, be more accommodative with their partner, even at the workplace, in every social setup. So if you're a choleric, then you already know what your weakness would be. Sorry, not weakness, but pressure point, and what your strength would be, so that you do more, work more on where you need to improve. That is a pressure point. And then you continue enhancing your strengths. Now, the second personality type is phlegmatic. Now, who is a phlegmatic? Their strength is they are calm, they are patient, and they're also peacemakers. These are people who don't want war. They're always looking for peace, the Kofi Annans of relationships. So they would rather sometimes even suffer in silence for the sake of peace. We all want peace. We don't want war. We don't want misunderstandings and conflicts. And what is their weakness? They avoid conflict a lot. They delay tough talks. When they realize, if I ask this, I'm going to rub some shoulders, rattle some feathers, then they would rather not speak. Then now, how does that unravel in marriage? Yes, there is a lot of peace because this person will avoid conflict at all costs. But then again, there's need to speak up, because the more they keep feeling hurt, lines are being crossed and they're keeping quiet, then that can build resentment, Habibi. Resentment is really bad because, again, remember, you're human and you cannot hold all these things inside for a very long time. With time, they'll explode, and when they do, it gets ugly. We'll get more into what that person needs to do. But of course, that's the pressure point, though we have their strength as the calmness. They bring, peace. They bring harmony, even when things are not very, very well aligning. All right? Then the next personality type is a sanguine. Who is a sanguine? The strength of a sanguine is they can be expressive, they are very warm, and they're full of life. They're like the life of the party. When they come in, the lights go on. Okay? That's a sanguine. That is their strength. But what's their pressure point? The pressure point is they can be quite inconsistent. They can be distracted so easily, and they avoid also tough conversations, those hard talks, those difficult conversations. They'll avoid that. They would rather the feel-good moments. So if a conversation is going to kill the vibe, then they would rather not have that conversation. Either delay it or even try to just not have it at all, because they just want to YOLO. They just want to feel good. They just want to, have a good time. So in marriage, they bring a lot of joy, and we know those people. We know those people even in our social setups, in our chamas, in our church groups, in our social setups, when we meet up, even family gatherings, those people. They bring a lot of joy, but then again, they need consistency. They need to be grounded, that they're not distracted, and we'll see how we can also balance each other out in a marriage relationship. Now, the last one is a melancholic. Now, who is a melancholic? A melancholic, their strength is they're very analytical, they're very deep, and they're detail-oriented. You know those guys, yeah? They love excellence. They want things to be done systematically. They want order. They cannot just sit back and watch chaos. These are melancholic. They want to be very analytical, very deep, very well detailed. They want to do things in a systematic manner. But what's their weakness, or rather, we said pressure point. What is their pressure point? They can really overthink. They can overthink things. They can be quite critical. All right, they can be quite critical, and also they can be a bit withdrawn in the process of deep thinking and analyzing details. They can be a bit withdrawn. And how does this unravel in marriage? They bring stability in their strength, but also there's some need of flexibility, just relaxing a little bit, because again, they almost get to a point of being perfectionists. They want everything done so perfectly, organizing the home, how you put things in the bedroom, in the kitchen, when now you leave things a little bit in a mess, especially when there are kids around, and that is very normal, but then with them it can be a bit unsettling. So if you're a partner who is not a melancholic, then you're married to a melancholic, then definitely there's gonna be a bit of shoulders being rattled. You've heard of funny small conflicts like, why are you using the toothpaste from the middle? You should press it from right up, going forward. And then someone has a way on how they want their polish, their shoe polish used. People have a way on how they want things arranged in the wardrobe. And now when you start staying together, especially in our honeymoon stage, the very first years of getting to know each other, then that's when you start realizing, if you're a melancholic, you start feeling like the other partner is not as organized, as systematic as you would like them to be. So I'd like to highlight this, Habibi. I'd like to highlight this, that all these personalities, they have their pressure points and they have their strengths. No personality is good and no personality is bad. They are all amazing personalities with the strengths and with the pressure points. The purpose for this doing this video is for us to understand in our different personalities, because every personality has a strength and every personality has a weakness. In our different personalities, how can we be able to understand each other so that we are able to accommodate one another in our differences, in our strengths and in our pressure points, help each other grow, and even reduce the number of conflicts that we have, because we realize most of the times honestly, we have very unnecessary conflicts. And the only bone of contention is the fact that we are wired differently. So please ensure that you're able to understand yourself. Also, it's important for you to understand your partner. Now, before we get to you understanding yourself and your partner, I would like us to give this more of a more realistic kind of a touch. So we've done this actually with a couple of friends of mine. You go on ChatGPT and you check your personality type. It gives you a couple of questions that you answer. It gets your personality type, and then you also share the personalities of your partner. They get their personality types. Then you ask ChatGPT, how does this work in marriage? And ChatGPT will mingle that up. One thing I can assure you, it gives you 99% accuracy of who you really are. Just be honest in answering the questions, and I can assure you, it gives 99% accuracy. So let me share. I'll share one test that we did with I'll not share the exact names, and so to protect their identity, allow me to use Romeo and Juliet. Okay, so Juliet is a sanguine, phlegmatic. This is something else that we also need to mention, that most of the times we are like a mixture of the two. So we've just gone through 4 personalities. Most of the times we are a mixture of the two. You can either be like Juliet is, a sanguine phlegmatic. So we said a sanguine is the life of the party. You just want to YOLO, you only live once, yeah? Not very grounded and all that. Then we said a phlegmatic is a peacemaker. They don't want war. They want to be at peace. They would rather, hurt from the inside. As long as there is no storm in the house, we are good. We just keep going. So that is Juliet. And who is Romeo? Romeo is a melancholic choleric. Melancholic, choleric. We said melancholic is a person who analyzes, overthinks, is a perfectionist. And then a choleric is the leader. They're so direct. They don't have time to mince words. They want to get things done. They say it as it is. Something also I could mention on this, when someone is actually a phlegmatic, they are also very sensitive emotionally. They're very emotional. The emotions can be very fragile, and also at times they can be overwhelming. And so this mix, if it is not well managed, it means if this Romeo, who is melancholic choleric, becomes too direct with very tough things on Juliet, and Juliet is a YOLO, and also she doesn't want fights and all that, then it becomes so easy to bruise her emotions, or to hurt her, or to cause her pain. So, an example of a conflict that can happen between Juliet and Romeo. This is real life. And guys, like I told you, it's 99% accurate. And funny enough, when we did it, I also did it with my partner. Funny enough, when we did it, you start realizing some realities, some real things that have happened in the past, and you're like, and by the way, we had this conflict. So this is what it was all about. It's just about you being a choleric. So you're just so direct. You didn't mean to hurt me. So you're insensitive or you don't care. So let me give you an example. Juliet wants to talk about something that has just happened, and it hurt her or caused her pain. And being an emotional person, like I told you, phlegmatics are most of the times also a bit quite emotional. She would want to have it settled there and then, so that she can continue YOLOing, having some good vibes. She don't want to continue feeling like there is tension, things are not settled, it is not okay. And for such a person, if you can relate, Habibi, tell me if you can relate to this. At times you can't even sleep, you can't eat, you can't be settled. You just want to know that this is dealt with, it's past and behind us, so that we can move on with the good vibes. And inshallah, So that is Juliet. But Romeo is a choleric, melancholic. He needs time to process all this. He needs time to process everything that has just happened. So he doesn't want to talk about it in the heated moment. He wants to maybe walk away, stroll around, go distract himself somewhere with friends. This is Romeo. So he has boys club out there. He wants to go there and just talk about nothing and just hear the noise, outside there, then process everything pole, and then he'll come back when there's clarity. And mostly cholerics, melancholics, once they process things, sometimes they don't even need to talk about it. They actually, in case they're the ones who are wronged, they forgive so easily, and to some extent they'll even come and say, there's no need to talk about it, I forgive you, babe, it's all right, let's move on. But is that possible for our Habibi here, Juliet? Is it possible? It's not. For the emotional person, they want to talk about it, analyze it, discuss it, turn it upside down, so that they feel we've totally talked about this and it won't happen again in the future, and now we can move on. So when Romeo walks away to go and analyze, think about it, process what happened, then he can come back when the heated moment is over and things are settled, the dust is settled, and now they can talk about it. When he walks away to go and cool off, Juliet will not interpret it as he went to cool off and to just think about things and clarify things internally, so that now when he comes to lay it on the table, it's done. She will interpret it as, he doesn't care about me. He just hurt me. He just caused me pain. And then he walked away. She feels like it's adding an insult to an injury, That's how she would naturally feel. Because for her love language, because of how she's wired, is she wants to sit down, Romeo to explain, Romeo to apologize, Romeo to ABCD, so that now all can be fine, and then now he can walk away when everyone is good. Because why is he leaving me here? I'm feeling unsettled, I am hurt, I can't sleep at peace, I'm uneasy, I can't even watch a program, I can't even read a book, I can't even cook, I'm feeling so disturbed about everything that just happened. So Juliet will interpret it as an insensitive person that doesn't care. But in real sense, Romeo just wants to take a walk, get clarity in his head, then come back when they're able to talk out things. So if Juliet is able to understand that my man is actually a melancholic choleric, he is a leader, yes, he makes decisions and all that, but also he's one person that needs to process things. When there is a conflict, then she will give him space. She will allow him, and she'll understand that he didn't walk away just to ignore me or to torture me with all these feelings and the hurt I'm feeling right now. He just walked away for clarity, and then he'll be back and we'll talk about this. I will be fine. Trust you me. She would take life so easily. And that is why we're having this conversation today. What is your personality? And what is your partner's personality? How do you understand each other? You realize after you've stayed in marriage for quite some time, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, there are some arguments you had probably in the first 5 years of the marriage that you don't have anymore, because with time, you've been able to understand each other. So when something similar happens again, you don't have to throw tantrums and break things around and, cause chaos everywhere. You just cool off, sit down, wait for things to settle down, then able to talk out things, but only when you're able to understand each other. So we can have same love. These two people love each other so much, but they are wired very differently. Juliet softens Romeo, and Romeo grounds Juliet, because remember what he said, Juliet is she just wants to spend. These are the people who go and for a shopping spree and they can really spend. These are the people who will jump onto every trip that comes. These are the people, they're not quite, they don't want the difficult side of life. Yet we still need that difficult side of life for us to actually build our homes, our families, our marriage. All right, so I'd like to give you an assignment as we close. Sit down with your partner. go to ChatGPT, check your personalities. Just ask them, what's my personality type? And ChatGPT will ask you a few questions. Be very honest in how you answer those questions so that the results you get are going to be as accurate as possible. Then your partners, in the same conversation, do it together. And then ask, how does this work in marriage? Then you're going to see how conflict can arise and how the possibilities of how they can escalate and be blown out of proportion, or how they can be handled amicably and they are resolved without so much drama or causing much hurt or problems. And I can assure you, you'll be more self-aware, you'll be more aware of your partner, and your marriage will be more peaceful. You reduce the number of conflicts you have, you change your tactics on how you handle your conflicts, and of course, your marriage will thrive. So never ever ask yourself, are we the correct match? But ask each other, how are you wired? How am I wired? And how does this combination work for us? That is all I had for you today, my Habibi, my Habibti, my beloved. So go get to understand each other and thrive in your marriages. We would really love to hear from you. If you can share in the comments. Also, you can even reach out to us via our email addresses. Would love to hear from you. Did you try this challenge? How did it work out for you? Was it an eye-opener for you as a couple? Please converse with us. Let us know your experience, and from it, so many other people will be able to learn as well. Also, would love to share your stories. You've been able to conquer various challenges in marriage. You have a beautiful story that can encourage someone, can inspire someone. Please make sure you write to us via the email address on your screen. We're also going to share this on our bios. Reach out to us, write to us so that we'll be able to get in touch with you. You can share your phone number or contacts, and we're going to reach out to you. We organize with you, come and share your story. If you have any questions you'd like to ask, if you need any kind of support with marriage as well, because we know areas that we can connect you with that offer pro bono marriage counseling, just to make sure that your marriage thrives and you live a purposeful life as together with your partner as a family. I love you so much. Until next time, keep safe.